can rise above that or escape from that is with the permission of religion. You can't just walk away. So in Hindu monasticism, for example, the system that we go through, there is a ritualistic renunciation. A ritualistic renunciation called a Viraja Homa, done early and at sunrise on a particular holy day. In our order, it's on the birthday of Sri Ramakrishna, the next morning. And in the Himalayas, it's on Shivaratri night, the next morning, early morning. So that ritual is performed where you symbolically give up all connection to society, all connection to conventional religion, all connection to family. You give up all of that, you give up all the duties, all the obligations, but you also give up all the rights. You no longer, for example, in India, in law in India, taking the vow of renunciation like I have done, they call it legal death. So it's equivalent to legal death. It's also worldly death. So to become a monk, you actually have to, there are some rituals which a Hindu has to perform for departed ancestors. So if somebody's grandfather dies or parents die, then you have to perform some rituals. They are called Shraddha. Now, when you become a monk, I'm letting you into the secret. When you become a monk, before you perform the final vows of renunciation, one day before that, you are expected to perform these rituals, these ancillary rituals, for all your ancestors, including the ones who are living. If your father and mother are living, you still have to perform that. Why? Because after you become a monk, you are nobody to them. You cannot go forth and perform those rituals for them, because they are no longer your, any special relationship is not there anymore. Not only that, the interesting thing is, you have to perform that ritual for yourself. It's called Atma Shraddha. Because since you're not going to have a family, so there won't be anybody who's going to perform that ritual for you. And so the conventional understanding is if nobody performs the ritual for you, you are transformed into a ghost wandering the earth for eons to come. Don't worry. Don't think of going out there and start performing these rituals. These are incentives made to make you perform these rituals. Now, so you perform those. So you have no more rights to wealth. So your parental property, for example, which might have come to you automatically, that will not come to you anymore because you don't have a right to that. So all wealth, everything you have to give up. You are no longer a part of. You're not supposed to go out and vote. That's the code. You know, every kind of right which a citizen enjoys, which a person in society enjoys, that also you give up. You make your livelihood by begging for food and the minimum clothes that you wear. So that's what a monk is supposed to do. And there is no transaction involved there, because the persons who give you food, because you're begging for that, the persons who give you food, you're not giving anything back in return directly to them. So they give you food out of their own free will. If they don't want to give you food, they need not. It's not an obligation. So a monk is supposed to beg for food, go out in the morning and beg for food in 3 households. It doesn't get enough on 5 households, and that's it. You still don't get enough, you fast that day. There's a nice saying among the monks in the Himalayas. I'll tell you in Hindi, all the punch is in Hindi, but I'll translate. I'll give you a watered down translation in English. About food. You can imagine that's a concern because you have to beg for your food. Kabhi ghee ghana, to kabhi mutti bhar chana, or kabhi wo bhi mana. What does that mean? It rhymes nicely in Hindi. Sometimes you get rich food, which has a lot of ghee in it, clarified butter, and also it's rich food, very spicy and nicely prepared, and the best kind of Indian food in the restaurant. Sometimes you get that. Some person who likes a monk might give you something very good. Or sometimes you may get a handful of gram, the Bengal gram. It's a kind of what is it? Chickpeas. Yeah, it's like that. That's all you get. That's all you get. And sometimes even that you don't get that either. And one has to maintain equanimity in all circumstances. You can't be delighted you got curry or something like that, and you can't be annoyed or that nobody gave you any food. I remember once I was begging for food in the Himalayas in Uttarkashi with other monks, and there was another monk from our order who found it little insulting to have to beg for food like that. And there was this person, donors come, people who want to donate to monks. So donors come, one donor was there. They sometimes give you a little bit of money also, like a gift. So he was giving everybody a mango and 1 rupee. So I got my mango and 1 rupee as walking past, and the monk behind me was hesitating. It was beneath his prestige to accept 1 rupee. And until he was scolded by some other monk, go ahead and take it. So that's the idea of monasticism.